Hey guys, what's up? It's Rob Gordon, the Wingman, out here at beautiful Topanga Beach on a beautiful day for winging. I just got off the water and I wanted to announce a new video series I'm going to be doing called How to Wingfoil. The goal for this series is I put out a video every week throughout the summer, starting from the absolute basic beginner and then take you all the way to where you guys are riding around and jibing and maybe even getting to enjoy a beautiful, windy, surfy day like these guys out here. In order to do these series, it would help a lot if you guys could like, subscribe, share these videos. If it saves you some money, maybe click the super thanks feature and give me a tip. The other thing you can do that would really help is you could go over to my new website, wingmanfoilclub.com. And then if you go to the forum, after I do a video every week, I'll post the link up and I'll post a topic on the forum. And then you guys can come in, ask questions, share your own videos back to get feedback, and we can really communicate in that way. There's also a newsletter you can sign up on the site. The other thing that would really help, I got these Wingman Foil Club hoodies and merch. Check out the store, wingmanfoilclub.com/store. And if you guys could purchase some t-shirts or hoodies or whatever, that would help me bring you some high quality videos. With all that said, let me get to today's video. It's the first video, real simple. Do you need lessons? And we're just going to break down the people who would benefit from lessons and then maybe the people who don't need a lesson. The first thing I would say is if you have windsurfing or kite surfing experience, it's possible you could get away with not doing lessons. You might be able to just follow along with this series, which is the goal of this series, start all by yourself. If you have no wind sports experience, I would say you probably need to take a lesson, because there is some danger aspects. And also, this is probably going to be one of the hardest things you try to learn in your life. I know people say that about a lot of sports and a lot of activities, but no joke, if you've never done wind sports, this is going to be really hard. It requires balance, it requires fitness, it requires knowing the right gear and how to set it up, the right conditions and how to read them. And then it also requires a knowledge of wind and how the wind works. So if you have absolutely no experience, I would say you probably need a lesson. If you're a former windsurfer, I can almost guarantee you don't need a lesson. You could just use this series. Kite surfers, you're somewhere in between. It'll help you out a little bit, but you're not going to have that immediate connection to the concept as a windsurfer would. If you're just like a general foiler, that will definitely help you as well. But learning the wind aspect is going to be a little bit tricky. There's a really cute little dog. What's going on? How you doing? You're so cute. That's the one thing. Do you have any wind sports experience? Next point. What are your local conditions like? If this is your only spot, the ocean with waves, and it's like a pretty windy day, don't go out there. Don't try and learn by yourself in those kind of conditions. You will get hurt. You'll wreck your gear. Not a good idea. You don't even know what you don't know. So you might go out there on a day where the wind is blowing offshore and you pop a wing and you drift out to Catalina. You don't want that. If you, on the other hand, are, in a protected bay that's got land on all sides and hopefully a really long beach and some side shore wind, and then you can always kind of just paddle back in from the flat water and walk back, that's going to play into whether or not you need lessons as well, because that, if you have a safe, good spot, that's really going to help. And we'll have a video talking about the conditions you need to learn. That might be one of the next videos. If you're in somewhere that's a little bit more exposed, then you would want to go with a lesson. Some of these lessons have jet skis or even boats. Kite the Bay in San Francisco, he does boat lessons. Houston Kiteboarding and Houston, Texas, they do jet skis with their lessons. So having someone with you to pull you back upwind or bring you back in if you go too far out, that can be a real plus. On the other hand, if you're in Corpus Christi, they have a little lake called Sunset Lake. You can take a lesson with them there at kiteboarding.com. It's also a protected lake, so even if you go to the other side, you could paddle back because it's flat water, or you could walk back or whatever. You want to think about your conditions. That's another thing. Third thing I would say is fitness. What's your fitness like? Are you a really good paddler? Like maybe you're a surfer and you're just like all upper body, 160 pounds, and you can swim for 2 hours? Well, that's going to be a factor too, right? Because if you got really good fitness, as you're getting pushed downwind when you're learning, which is what happens, you're able to paddle back up if you need to where you need to go, or if you go too far out, you can paddle back in. So fitness is always safety. Like that's kind of a rock climbing thing as well. The fitter you are, you can get yourself out of some situations that someone who's not fit couldn't do. So if you're a little bit less fit, not a bad idea to have someone with you to help you out, maybe even help you carry some gear back up the beach after you get blown downwind. Another thing to think about is, are you somewhere where there's already a pretty big and supportive foiling community? If you live in Los Angeles, you probably don't need to take a lesson because you can hook up through my website, wingmanfoilclub.com/forum, or through the Facebook groups or the Los Angeles Foil Club. They have a WhatsApp group. You can probably link up with some people and you might be able to get them to give you some pointers and keep an eye out for you, or pick their brain on the beach. If you go down to Cabrillo Beach any day of the summer, especially on a weekend, and you go to the inside harbor area, you could probably get some people to throw you a couple of pointers and maybe even teach you. That could be really helpful if you live somewhere like that. Now, let's say you live in, I don't know, Tunisia. I don't know if that's a good example. Let's say you live in Kansas City and you've got a lake that you're trying to learn on. You're the only person that's ever seen a foil or heard of a foil in the city. Then you might benefit from taking a lesson. You might not be able to find a lesson there. You might even benefit from flying out here and taking a lesson from one of our guys, or flying to Hood River and doing a week there and taking a lesson. That's another really good idea, right? If you live in a wing desert where there's just no foilers around, save up your vacation days, get yourself a little trip out to Corpus Christi, out to Los Angeles, out to Hood River, out to Maui, and link up with like a good school or a good instructor, get a couple of lessons, rent some gear for the week, and then that's going to really benefit you in the long run. I mean, yes, if you have the money, taking a lesson is going to expedite this process. It's also going to let you use their beginner gear when you really need it. We'll talk about gear in another video, but you're going to want like bigger board and bigger foil to start. If you take a few lessons and you advance quick enough, you might be able to buy more intermediate gear that you can grow into. That's another consideration. Oh, I spent, $300 on a lesson, but it allowed me to get the gear that I want to get. When I first started, even though I had a lot of windsurfing experience as a kid and I was a pretty high-level kite surfer 20 years ago, I still took a lesson just because I wanted to know what the gear felt like. How do you set it up and that kind of thing. Honestly, in my lesson, they didn't even teach me that much. I'll be honest. I won't say who. But just getting to feel the gear, watch them set it up, just a couple of small things, you learn a lot. So then I went ahead and I bought, at the time, what would be called a pretty advanced board for my size. And I did a very basic foil. I had a different learning curve. And I was able to try and jump ahead because of my background as a windsurfer and because I took a lesson. Though I still did struggle with having to learn some stuff because I went with that small board. But by taking a lesson, I just learned some things about like how fragile the gear is. The windsurfing gear wasn't really fragile. With wing stuff, you got to be careful. You'll pop your wing or you'll break, you'll chip your foil, that kind of thing. Those are sort of my thoughts on the topic. I'll put this video up in the forum under Wingfoiling, under how to Wingfoil series. And then you guys can chime in, ask me some more questions, and I can answer specifically for you whether I think you should take a lesson and maybe where you might want to go to take a lesson. That's the beauty of this forum. Please join up. It's really a powerful tool for you to connect with me and give you feedback right away. It will save you a lot of money, I promise you, and consider tipping me because this series is going to save you money on not buying the wrong gear and not having to take as many lessons. That being said, if you're in LA or you want to fly out to LA anytime during the summer, we have wind in Long Beach April till October almost every day. So you could fly out, book a lesson with me, hit me up on the forum. You could even hit me up on, coming out here for like a week, and we could put together a package where I get you some gear. I sort of just check in with you every day. I go ride with you, give you some tips, and we do like more of a coaching rate. So those are some options. If you don't live in LA or you don't want to come to LA, you want to go somewhere else, I've added a little instructors forum to my website, and I'm hoping to get some instructors to put up an ad so you can look for your location or different locations and see where you should go. The website is fairly new, so they're not on there yet. A lot of them, though, I know personally. So if you just post in that instructors or in the How to Wingfoil forum, I'll find you an instructor that I know or that I'm familiar with or that has good reputation, and we'll get you started that way. I hope you sign up. Hope you like, subscribe. I hope you comment in the forum and let me know. Like, I'm here for you. Let's get you guys foiling by the end of the summer. Like, UG is coming right now. See if he rides this waves. It's more of wind swell waves, but it's pretty big out there. Ripping. UG just ripping. Getting his jibe out of the wave. That's pretty much all you want to learn to do. In this series, I want to get you to that point. You can come in, ride a wave, jibe out, and stay safe. Peace out, guys.